Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a beautiful, nice and early Tuesday morning over here in Helsinki, Finland. Very, very warm and very actually sunny as well. So it's a trifecta of good moods. And of course, I want to be wishing you well. I want to be wishing you the best of the best, the happiest of the happiest. Just all the good superlatives. Wish me from me to you is what I'm trying to say. And let's get into live scene, wasting no more time as Bitcoin's once again had a move in the overnight session, living in Eastern Europe or Nordic Europe or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Not looking so good for me just because it appears to be that I've missed just about every move over the last couple months, like the big moves, in the overnight session, just getting a little bit more frustrating. Anyways, no point in ranting about that. Let's talk about some goddamn price action. The good old Magic Internet Money business going on right now, taking another leg up. And in fact, this is kind of exactly what we were looking for yesterday. Overall bullish setup, Bitcoin above all major moving averages, golden cross still intact, and these two moving averages are gaining more and more divergence away from each other. They're trying to strengthen into the upside. We do see the yellow 21 exponential moving average getting a very, very aggressive positive slope now. And, I just want to spend a second here speaking about how you can make trading easier for yourself. And I really hope that we've, as you've been kind of watching this go on, just realizing that overall, there's not all that much to do when you see a setup like this, except for just, ride the trend. And you can make trading as easy as you want it to be if you just let it. And right here, we got the golden cross, the green 55, the purple 200. We're above all major moving averages. Well, right now, but as soon as we held up above this yellow 20 exponential moving averages, and you can see how it never even got a negative slope there. It was flat to like slightly positive. And that's why I have that rule that as long as we have the golden cross, I'm not bearish and I'm not looking for like big shorts until we actually get below the 21 exponential moving average. And even then, there's going to be supports lower, but then I'd be looking for, a more sizable short, looking for, an actual trade. Over here, the only shorts that I could see are just like very one-off, very, 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 very small time frame type stuff. In my opinion, not really even worth it, to be quite honest with you, just because the trade to be made is the upside right here. And it has been for the past couple months. Overall, I do want to be transparent with my trading activities in my streamer account. I did not add on to my long position here. I did not do anything. I'll be looking to amend this if we do have a little bit of a pullback back down to about 5,800-ish area. Although there's no promises on that, as overall this is a very powerful move from Bitcoin in the overnight hours. Now, of course, looking at the daily right here, the volume on this move does not look too impressive, but it's way too early to judge something like this. I know that the volume queens always get on their fucking soapbox and start talking about, but the volume's not good. It's not good enough. It's like, no, it's, in traditional markets, I never even really cared too much about volume, to be honest with you, only on major pivots in the market. That's the only time I really cared about it. Other than that, I didn't really pay too much attention. Actually, in traditional markets, is kind of like, it was like an unspoken rule that low volume was typically like, a more bullish thing. Anyways, going back down into lower time frames, because that's where we can actually kind of mark out some areas right here. Going over to the BitMexican chart, we do see that Bitcoin did get that very critical break above the 5,800 that we were looking at yesterday. Yeah, right around here, 5,800, getting confirmed above. Actually, right about when I was waking up this morning. But overall, this ascending triangle acting like ascending triangle more importantly, and you can see that we did get the break on this. And on the 2 hour, we do actually see some decent volume on this. And technically, there would be a measure move actually pointing a little bit higher. Did we almost get there already? Pretty damn close, but I think that we do have a little bit more to go. And overall, this is confluent with the higher time frames, just looking for continuation. So looking at the 2 hour right over here, I would be looking for this area to be support if we do come back down and base on it between about low 5,800 to about 5,790 ish area. If Bitcoin were to come back down around there, I would be looking for that to be likely bought up. Overall, we do see 2 hour Stokes getting up there once again, actually losing a little bit of momentum right now. What about the hourly Stokes actually crossing down? So do we have a little bit of retracement to be had in the lower time frames? Probably, most likely. Does look like we probably do want to pop back down and test like 5830, just basically the area that we just spoke about, 5830 to about 5800, we'll call it, in this boxy territory right here. I am looking for that. I am looking for that area to be bought up. It's only at lower time frames that are kind of headed down right now, and those switch around a lot. So always have to separate the low time frames from the medium, the high, and the macro time frames. Very, very low time frames, yes, looking for a pullback. Higher time frames, not so much. Because even if we just go over here to a 4 hour dollar time frame, we do see 4 hour Stokes actually having a fresh cross up, defending against the bearish controls and getting very erect on top of that with an extremely good close on that last tick. It looks like which ended, what was this? This was a while ago actually. This was about a couple hours ago. But fair enough. My point is that hey, we did have a nice thick and girthy dildo closing above this resistance, and higher time frames looking like they do want more continuation rather than anything. So it's only the lower time frames which would be suggesting a pullback. So when you have something like that, the edge on on a trade like that, it's not going to be all that much when you don't have the confluences between these different time frames. So if we, if we do that, I mean, there's like $50 edge on that trade. It's like, I'm not looking for a short here. I'm looking, I'm looking to add to my longs, if anything, which I don't really feel too compelled to do. I am long in my main account, which is, my priority, of course, but I don't really, it's time to make trading easier on yourself, not force things right here. This has been pretty constructive all the way up and likely to get some more. Looking at our 4-hour RSI, popping back up, looking completely fine to me. Just consolidation coming off of a nice run. Again, no glaring issues there. Just looks constructive to me. Going over here to the 8-hour. What does the 8-hour say? 8-hour Stoch's going to be crossing back to the upside, most likely on the next tick, which we do get, I believe, in a few hours. No, an hour and 24 minutes. So if we end anywhere here or higher, we will cross this one back to the upside. And here's the thing: the middle time frames, like the 6 to the 12-hour, like the 6 to the 10-hour, have not been too damn good on the oscillators, at least for the settings that I use. But it's better to have them on the same side as a higher time frames than anything. We do also see, more importantly, that the 8-hour RSI has regained the exponential on this. So to me, again, a bullish consolidation right over here. Not even just oscillating between the bullish control zone and the critical zone right over here, and in the high end of the neutral zone. So to me, again, just another kind of signal that this is likely to be a bullish theory, likely to get some more continuation, is what I'm trying to say. Not bullishly resolved. I mean, it has been bullishly resolved. Is the real thing. I do think that Bitcoin does shuffle its way actually a little bit higher. I do believe that we did kind of get our initial reaction off the 6,000-ish level. This is like the very low time frames action which we spoke about over the past couple days. That yes, while I do think that I don't think that 6,000 is going to be like a legitimate resistance. I think that more than likely Bitcoin makes its way into like 62 to 6,400, maybe more like 63 to 6,400. But looking at this, let me just make sure that you can actually see this. Okay, great. Let me do it like that. There we go. Yeah, something like this. Overall, my point is that lower timeframes are going to have a pullback off of that 6,000 level, but I'm not really looking for the higher timeframes too, especially once we get up here to the 12-hour. We do see 12-hour Stochs actually crossing back to the upside. They will confirm back to the upside if we end anywhere here or higher in the next 5 hours and 22 minutes and 36 seconds. And of course, we do see 12-hour RSI looking very constructive as well. We have actually regained the exponential on this once again, and rallying above all major moving averages. That is strength. So yesterday when we got the pullback, we only pulled back to the 10 simple. That to me is very, very strong, because we actually did have some bearish divergence on this, right, between this point and this point. Well, usually when I see bearish divergence, I want to see a test back down to the 21, which you could argue that, we kind of did get, but no, I'd still say it was only the 10 simple. So that is strength. If we only come back down there before we actually, take another leg up, that's strength, and that needs to be respected. So looking at that, everything looks okay right here. Let's look at the 12-hour jewel. Not really telling us too much. In fact, I really want to spend some time on the daily jewel, because I remember that was potentially setting up the other day. And exactly, okay, yes. So this is why I was saying, when you do see the daily jewel, or sorry, just any time frame jewel have like a really aggressive slope like this, it's not gonna line up for a trade. It's not like this over here where we kind of flatlined around these resistances. No, this one over here just completely overshot them, which is just, again, not going to be a good signal right there. Looking at daily Stochs, still headed up and erect, getting back into the critical zone. So, a little bit more of a point of contention, but still a lot more damage can be done before that actually does take over. Daily RSI looking fine to me, just oscillating between the bullish control zone and the neutral zone. So, higher time frames look like they want more continuation. Lower time frames, probably a little bit of a pullback. Do we pull this thing back to like, 5820, 5800 even, something like that, might be okay. But I'm not too concerned with it. The higher time frames are taking over right now, and we're just seeing months and months and months of price action kind of get resolved right now. Going over here to the 2-day, there's some very, very interesting to be aware of, as we are about to take out. We will confirm above the white 200 simple moving average. Is this later tonight? No, sorry, it'll be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I do think that it's extremely likely that we actually do take this area out, and this becomes yet again another base. So it's going to be coming in right around that critical 5,800-ish level. So this is actually quite good for bulls, because not only have we built up a base right around the 5,350-ish level in confluence with the daily 377 exponential moving average, and also the 2-day 200, the 3-day 200, and the weekly 50 and 89. But we do see that if this area gets taken out here, this is likely to be a strong support. If we can actually confirm a close above 5,800, which I think is quite likely, I do think that that happens, and we can see that just back testing this. Again, I don't want to make it sound like everything needs to be compared with fucking 2014 and 2015 or the past. It doesn't always have to be like that, and it's really starting to get on my nerves. Not on my nerves, but it's just I think it's a little bit misguided that so many people are looking for 2014 and 2015 to have the answers for what's going on right here. Random variability does happen, and anyone who's been in the traditional markets can tell you that, because there's decades and decades of history. So even if you didn't live through it, you can go back and kind of look at it, and you'll find out very quickly that it doesn't always need to look like the fucking past. Yes, sometimes you do get that. Sometimes it can be right, but if you're only going to be going off the past, you're going to be wrong more often than not. So novel situations do happen. Anyways, okay, so we do see the 200 moving average in 2014, 2015. Bitcoin never even really tested it until it was ready to break out into the bull phase right over here in end of 2015, leading on for another 3-year just straight up rally. And my point is that Bitcoin very, very likely to break it, I would say right here. So, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I do think that we'll be over 5,800, and then we probably pop back down and retest 5,800, and then we get some more continuation. But of course, this is, a 2-day little time frame, so it's going to take some time for it to actually play out. But I'd be looking for this to, if we do confirm above it, going to be a big, strong base and probably a buy on the next pass to the downside. So if Bitcoin does make its way into the 6,000s before then, and then I'd be looking for a retracement somewhere down to this area, on the next sort of phase, if you want to call it that. How long it's going to take, nobody fucking knows, man. And because it is a 2-day little time frame, likely a couple, week, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever that's being, right? It takes 2 days to get one tick on this guy. More importantly, we do see 2-day Stokes actually crossing back up to the upside. This is exactly what we were talking about the other day, where we had 2-day Stokes heading down for the past couple weeks, actually since the 25th of April, and price action's just been floating up ever since then. So to me, that just allowed them to reset as Bitcoin approaches a major resistance right here. And then what happens after that? Now we're getting them cross back to the upside. I think that we have enough juice to actually probably break this. That's typically the setup that I want to see before major resistance or support gets broken. Is I want to see the asset consolidate around that area, and then I want to see all of the also to start to switch back around and show some power in that direction. We also do see 2-day RSI, not telling us anything too crazy. The thing is that it will be quite easy to create some bearish divergence on the next pop, but we need to confirm a local high before that, and we are nowhere near confirming a local high anytime soon. And it's going to at least take another 4 to 6 days, if anything. Even if we were to turn down from here, it would be a while. So that's my point. Is if you are looking for this to play out just because the RSI can't go higher, bro, that kind of shit, you're going to be waiting a long time. And I think the people who are blindly shorting this right now are on the wrong side of the trade, and they've been on the wrong side of the trade for the past. I think it got quite obvious right over here. But for the past couple months. Okay, going over here, the 3-day RSI going to be actually making new highs. So 3-day RSI isn't even going to make any sort of bearish divergence. Funnily enough, we do see 3-day Stokes actually still gaining momentum to the upside. This is so fucking intense right now. As we did just get a new tick on this last night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So this is fresh. This is new, and Bitcoin, as long as we're above 5,800, I'd imagine that it probably is safe. But again, it is another cautionary thing though, saying, hey, historically speaking, Bitcoin does not like to stay in this zone for too long, in the more critical zone on the 3-day Stokes. So it would be a little bit of a cause for caution, but a lot of, on price action, because we're dealing with such big numbers, a lot of damage can be done before something like that actually plays out. And what I'm really looking for is the 3-day Stokes actually cross to the downside and then get back below this critical zone right here. That's when I think it's an actionable type signal. But I want to remind myself that 3-day RSI, are we making new highs? Actually, we're not, but if we move anywhere up from here, then we will be. So again, we'd still have to confirm a local high as well, which we just got a new tick on this, so it's not gonna be happening anytime soon to begin with. Not only that, but we've been following this for a while, ever since we got the cross of the green, the yellow and the green, the 21 and the 55 right over here, just following it up. And so you can see that Bitcoin is consolidating alongside of it as the 21 gets a more and more positive slope. Again, just another thing saying, hey, trend to the upside. We do see that the last time we actually got this cross was right over here in in 2014, 2015, and Bitcoin marching its way up from $250 to $20,000 just a few years later after that. So again, I just want to show that if you let things be easy for yourself, they can be. So we've been watching these things for the past month and a half, and that's really all that you've had to do. Just get along and kind of trust in the indicators. Use your edge. Looking at the weekly, we do have continuation on the weekly now. And again, this is also important from the Trollinger Band's perspective, just because last week we did close above the top Trollinger Band. That was my impetus for saying, hey, we're likely going to see continuation here. And now we are. So fair enough. Again, I'm not saying these things to sound like, oh, I'm so cool. I called it. I fucking hate it when people say, I called it with precision. It's like, no, you have never shown a trade, and you never will show a trade. And more importantly, who gives a fuck about what you call if you call every fucking possible scenario? You're always going to say that you're right. Obviously, I'm speaking to someone very specific here. No, I'm not. I'm just, I just see this stuff all around this, all around this space. It's like people want to be known for being right rather than make their own money, is what it seems like to me. Whereas I want to show you my positions, and my fucking opinion's wrong all the time, man. It's wrong all the time. But this was more technical analysis on this one. But you can see I don't put too much weight on my opinion. My opinion is kind of worthless. It's flighty, it's floaty. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. Technical analysis is what I used to trade, not my opinion. And this, just another example right over here. Well, where we're like where we already got some continuation. Staying a few more seconds on the weekly. We do see weekly stocks. There's still getting way up there. Again, just another little bit of a caution, but they can stay up there for a while, and they will during trending moves. Weekly RSI going to be reaching for the bullish control zone for the first time in about a year and a half, or definitely over a year. Yeah, since January of 2018. So that would be significant from the RSI perspective, but usually do see some defense against that around that area on the first pass. But again, we're dealing with big numbers here, and we're dealing with higher time frames. So how much damage can be done before that sort of, that becomes an interference? I mean, we could go all the way up to 62 to 6,400 very easily before that becomes a point of contention. That's my point. Is don't take that as like a signal for right now. No, I think it's quite clear right now that the direction is up, and I can't speak right because I'm a fucking moron. There we go. Anyways, back here on the weekly with the exponentials, we do see the red 10 symbol cross the upside of the yellow 21. Again, I have a video on this in the technical or I think it's the TA 101 series, so check that one out. Just basically telling you about the overall trend, and usually gets things pretty fucking well. Again, it can be that easy if you let it be. Consolidation right around here as we get these two crossing a lower period above a higher period, and then continuation. Of course, I do feel like it's appropriate to show this once again, just because the 50 simple, which is now going to be represented by the red moving average right here, which everyone was looking for to kind of shut Bitcoin down back to its lows. That was the wrong call. As soon as we started consolidating around this area, this was bullish. But more importantly, you can see that the red 50 simple is starting to really lose its slope as well. It's going to start to get flat in confluence with these moving averages right here. So this is just yet again another major thing coming in around the 5350-ish level. That is a pivot going from here and forwards. If Bitcoin loses 5350, I will be talking about moves back down into the into the deeper 4000s. Probably 4500 becomes extremely likely, but 4200 becomes a definite possibility. And at that point in time, then we got to then we're looking for potentially either a higher low, or do we continue the higher degree of trend on the monthly to the downside? But of course, this would be very far away. It's not happening anytime soon. And even if you are bearish, thinking that the low is not in, which I would still be, I'm still not really convinced either which way. I'd say fundamentally it looks like a low is in. Technically though, I would not really call it such. There's certainly some dissenting with it. You can make a case for both, is what I'd like to say. But even if you're bearish or bullish, I would, I'd be looking for upside for at least the next we're not going back down to the 4,000 in the next month or two or anything like that. At least I don't think so. For now, direction's up, no matter if you're bullish or bearish. Okay, so let's get this 50 simple back off. And put back on the 10 simple. Let's go over here to the monthly. I won't speak too much on the monthly just because I've already beaten it to death enough. But monthly, again, if you want to make trading easy for yourself, we regain the 21 exponential moving average right over here. that was my impetus for saying, hey, we're likely going to see a move much higher. I think my first target's like 62 to 6,400-ish area, and then potentially 7,000. But of course, one thing at a time. But I always want to spend a second here on the monthly. That we are still not an uptrend. This is still a downtrend. We're still making lower highs and lower lows until Bitcoin can actually make a higher high and then a higher low, which we have done neither of the sort. We're still in a downtrend from the monthly perspective. So very far out, still technically a downtrend. But all of the time frames bullish is what I'd like to say. And this one does look like, to be clear, this one looks like it wants to continue to me. But here's the thing. In order to set a higher high, we need to get above about 7,700. I mean, maybe you even call this 7,800 if you want to be super conservative, somewhere right around here. And then at some point, even if you are bullish, we're likely going to come back down and set a higher low, right? So that's going to make everyone hold their breaths as well. So again, this game takes a long time. And that's why I think it's very deceiving when you get caught in the lower time frames, when realistically the game is decided on, the weekly on a minimum, and really realistically the monthly. But from the monthly perspective, we could come all the way back down to about 49.50 to 5,000-ish area, and that'd be completely fine. It would still be, I'd still actually be short or more like medium to semi long-term bullish. So again, we got a lot of work to do if anything's going to really change around from this perspective. We do see monthly Stokes crossing back up to the upside. Again, last time that this happened, actually did lead into a little bit of a trap, but the thing is that trap was a little bit of a different setup on some that I put more weight on. We had not regained the 21 exponential moving average in 2015, but we have over here. So this is a difference of, action in my opinion. And I do put much more weight on that, as if we can actually close this next monthly above the 21, we're likely to get even more, more aggressive in, and I'd say like 7,000 becomes extremely like that at that point. Yeah, I'd feel pretty comfortable with saying something like that. Let's see. Monthly RSI has regained the exponential, which of course, this is very early in the month to really be deciding something like this. But as long as the monthly closes above about like 5,800 before end of month, which again, we have like another over 3 weeks to do this. It's not confirmed. But if we can regain the exponential on this, that'd probably be enough for me to say that we're going to move much higher, and we probably do end up putting in a higher high over time. Looking at the past, we didn't really even regain the exponential on this until we actually broke out into the bull market of 2015 all the way to 2018. So again, I think that there certainly are a lot of things staring us in the eyes. Could it be that this is the low? I mean, from a technical analysis standpoint, you could make the argument for it. From a fundamentals perspective, absolutely, you can make a great argument for it. In fact, I'd say that is quite convincing. But technically, I still struggle with it. So. Again, as a trader, though, can't matter about that, man. If you're going to be a trader, you got to be able to make money in all sorts of dynamic environments. Can't matter if it's bullish, bearish, or boorish. Got to be able to make money, man. And you can't join the fucking gangs, man. It's so discouraging when I see people join the gangs, and it's like, I'm going to be a bull because I want to be a bull, and I'm going to be a bear because I want to be a bear. It's like, no, what the fuck, man? You're going to end up fucking wrecked, man. You're going to end up fucking wrecked. And I'm sure that you're seeing it around a lot of different social media venues right now, like crypto, Twitter, and YouTube, and Reddit, and all those great places, very highly esteemed places. People just holding on to what they were believing prior, which you've seen me do as well. But I believe, or at least what I hope to show, is that when it comes down to technical analysis, I switch my positions regardless or not. I was getting long at 39.30 over here on this position right over here, the gift that keeps on giving, actually, which I'm quite happy about. And then down around here, even though I wasn't like super excited to be, going long once again, I put on a long just because we were holding up above the 21 exponential moving average after getting the golden cross. I'm always going to play that. And, technical analysis takes over, and in my opinion, not necessary, not needed. Anyways, back down to lower time frames. I do want to show a few more things. If we put back on the drawing tools right here, we do have this trend line to still kind of deal with, right? This rising trend line that's been governing all the highs ever since early April, getting 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially 5 highs now. But here's the thing: we actually did poke a hole with the wick of this still thus far, whereas all the prior ones have actually not gotten above that area. So we actually have done something a little bit different here, and I do think that ultimately we do break this, and that's going to be the impetus for the move into about 63 let's call it 63 to 6400. Let me put on the volume profile right here. You can see very clearly that the next higher value node is actually all the way at 60. Is all the way at 64. Now, does that mean that we have to get all the way there? No, but it's kind of like a magnet for price action, right? And right now we're in no man's land. And when you're in no man's land, price is not like that. It's called low market acceptance if you want like the full on, if you want like the Oxford Dictionary definition. But the way that I call it is nobody wants to fucking be here. How about that? And typically assets like to float towards areas of higher liquidity, which is what this essentially represents. This is where the most volume's been done, within this session, and I'd pretty much agree with that. So if we, the second that we do break above this trend line, which is rising over time, keep that in mind, which makes it a little bit tricky, but it is rising over time, and it's currently coming in around 59.20, and we'll be like, just to give an example, it's going to be 59.50 tomorrow, then 59.70, the next day, and so on and so forth. It is rising over time, and I do believe that it does break. But if and when it does break, that's when I start to look for like that actual just push. The actual push, which it looks like we're building up to right now. This has all been quite constructive. Yes, I know the bears are going to be calling this an ascending brawny wedge. I do not believe that it is. I don't believe that this is. And what's up, Stepan Petrov? Good to meet you, man. You must be Russian. So. Duh. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Good to meet you, regardless, my friend. Anyways, we do see that the volume signature on this would not be consistent with that of an ascending brawny wedge. And I am recording, so that's good. My mic's on. That's also good. Just making sure. Good timing to do that, about a half an hour into the actual video. And so the volume would not be correct on this, and also the shape on this would also not be correct. If I'm trying to do this with dildo bodies, it wouldn't work right now. So again, and more importantly, I do put much more importance on the exponentials here, the moving averages. So, what else do we want to look at? Let's go look at CMEs really quick. Yeah, CMEs, again, big move yesterday. And here's the thing, CMEs have been making this so much more easy. We do see CMEs taking out the 200 exponential moving average on Friday. That was my big reasoning for saying, hey, yeah, we're probably gonna have, we probably have a pullback here and there on the weekend, but overall, I'm looking for continuation, which we pretty much did get over the weekend, and then we got continuation as soon as the week opened. And look at this, man. We do have daily Stokes crossing back up to the upside just as of a couple of days ago. Same thing on the 2-day 4 spot where Bitcoin's moving up, and then it actually crosses right over here, but all the whilst daily Stokes moving down. So just allowing that to reset, and then now we get to go back onwards and upwards. Do you see the RSI obviously regained the exponential, just kind of popped down to it yesterday, found support, and now gonna rally for it. So again, overall looking fine. Weekly is going to be taking out the 50 exponential moving average, very similar mentality to what we spoke about on the 50 simple the past week on spot charts, and I do believe that this one it's going to have a similar reaction. We do have a pretty bullish cross of these two moving averages right here as well, and as you can see, you're not really too much stopping you from this sort of territory if and when that does happen. By the way, CME is trading at about a $20 premium right now, which quite impressive actually. They've actually been maintaining their premium, although it is quite early in the month, so not really too much to be going off of. 4 hour looking again fine, looking like it wants continuation. 4 hour Stokes having a fresh cross the upside as I what am I trying to say? Burp up some beef is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, sound like a fucking robot going burp beef pop. Jesus, man. Anyways, so overall CME's falling through it, and again making this a lot easier than spot charts. All we had to see was on Friday the close above the 200 exponential moving average, come back and retest it the other day, and then continuation. There you go. Okay, cool. What else do we want to look at? GBTC, sure, why not? GBTC actually buying it back up really well yesterday, and while the daily did not look too compelling, I mean, we do see daily Stokes crossing back up to the upside, defending against the bearish control zone. It was the weekly that was the signal for this one. The weekly came back down to the 50 and rallied off that exactly as we were looking for as well. I don't know how many people trade GBTC or anything like that. But this one, not really too much stopping it from 830. What is this, like 832? 8.25, 830-ish area, something like that, man. It wants continuation is what I'm trying to say. What does a monthly look like? Yeah, monthly was actually lagging. It actually had not regained the 21 exponential moving average just yet. So it is a little bit more of a rogue, and I do put more weight on it goes CME, then spot, then GBTC as it's not even third. It's like number 5, but there's no 3 or 4. It's not as worthwhile anymore. But we do see it kind of following through with the rest of the market. It's not leading though. I'd say I'd feel very comfortable saying that. Anyways, I need to take a sip of this water, man. I'm damn thirsty right now. And that reminds me. That reminds me, before we move on, let's go look at the longs and shorts on Finex, which shorts have actually been adding. This is very bizarre. We've actually seen a small amount of shorts added in the last day. We're at almost 32,000 open shorts versus 18,500 open longs. Now, a little bit under 4,000 these guys are hedged, so we really have 28,000 open naked shorts versus 18,500 open longs. Still a great imbalance. And the imbalance is actually, the delta in the imbalance is actually increasing right now. So that is very concerning. And the thing is, like, none of these shorts have taken positions off or like de-risked or taken profits along the way. I mean, we've basically been straight up since like the 21st or 22nd of April, right? Price action was all the way down here during the 21st and 22nd. And yes, I know that this is not Finex right here. We can go to Finex as well, but you get the idea. It's around the same point, right around 53.50 to 5,400. And these people are underwater regardless, no matter which way you fucking cut it. I know that there's going to be someone out there who sends me a very long-winded message saying, Krown, did you know this is not the right chart? It's like, oh my God, man. Sometimes I just do things, as a little bit of a shortcut. I just do that, to save a little bit of time, man. That's all. Anyways, so yeah, this setup is quite concerning because all these shorts, are stuck somewhere in this region over here. Price action very far away from them, but they're not letting their positions go. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if these people are either going to be forced out of their position via liquidation or they're going to de-risk at some point. And when that happens, what do they have to do? Well, they have to buy. And when they buy, well, what does that do? That forces the price action up because it has to be usually done in a market fashion if you get liquidated. And so, well, not always, to be fair. Not always, but again, just another kind of a more market dynamic, an underlying market dynamic kind of pointing in the same direction of saying, hey, likely do you see this next move up? It is confluent with all of our technicals and well, pretty much all of our technicals except for the very low time frames, but basically just another thing saying, hey, most likely going up. Now, here's the thing that I would say is a little bit on the other side, and this is the crypto fear and greed index, which we're taking out at 69, best number ever, but are we having any reaction here? You can see a great divergence with what we've been doing ever since early March, which is where I started to really change around my own trading behaviors compared to the past prior year of trading, right? We actually had, this is kind of strange, we actually had a descending triangle on the fear and greed index, which again, do I put more weight on this or price action? More weight on price action, of course. But just as a fun thought experiment, we can look at this and see that, hey, during 2018 to early 2019, we were basically in a massive descending triangle for the fear and greed index, and every time that we kind of spiked up and put in a little bit of a lower high, that was major highs on price action. This was your 12,000 double top in February last year. This was your 10,000 top in May, 8,400 top in August, 7,300 in September, 6,000 in November, and then break down. Well, these were all major highs. Well, now we've actually been spending a lot of time in this more critical area, which has called those highs from before. So that tells me that the overall mood is shifting. Now, again, is it fully confirmed everywhere? No, absolutely not. But just from this time frame perspective, confluent with what we're looking at on charts, things certainly are switching around right here. Anyways, okay, so we spoke all about that. Let's now talk about the top shitcoins with. Whoop, sorry about that. Ooh, some beef burps coming out. Beep, boop, beep. Let's. Anyways, go over here to Mr. Buterol. We were watching him yesterday, and right as I was just kind of signing off yesterday, we were noticing that Mr. Buterol was looking bullish, and well, I think yesterday I was saying that I do believe that it breaks 167.5. It did, and now we got all the way up to the 181 target. Nice, not bad. And I do think that this one continues on higher and forwards. But you see daily stocks gaining more momentum to the upside. What about weekly? Weekly stocks looking fine, not looking fine, but they're okay for continuation. More importantly, we're rallying off the 21 exponential, taking out the prior couple highs. So to me, that is likely to get some more continuation. Yes, we already did kind of hit our first target, but I do believe that this one actually probably wants to head up a little bit higher. If we put back on our drawing tools, basically made a bull flag right here, right? And if that's a bull flag, we do have a measure move actually pointing all the way to a little bit north of $200. That would be for BitMexico. For Bitfinex, it's going to be a little bit different. In fact, I think we already hit 192 or 190 or almost 192. But regain the 200 exponential moving average right over here. This to me looks like it wants to break out. Yes, volume is lackluster as of the current moment in time, but still a long day to go. Let's look at the lower time frames really quick. Yeah, lower time frames look a little bit constructive, although 4 hour is going to be having no bearish divergence. Sorry, I was gonna say that it does have bearish divergence. It does not. Weekly again looks fine to me. It looks like it wants continuation. I think that this one, a similar target, a little bit higher, maybe like 210 or something like that. Overall. Yeah, I like what I see here. Just going through the various time frames, since I haven't really checked this pre-recording. 2 day looks fine. 2 day Stokes crossing back up to the upside, and look at this, man. We're just kind of walking this trend line up this way right over here. So not bad, man, not bad. And just kind of hitting this one. Initially, I'd imagine that we probably do make our way back up to this marker over, somewhere up here. So how much damage can be done on price action with that in mind? A lot of damage can be done. 3 day 89 exponential coming in right around about 208. I think that would kind of be somewhere around where I'd be looking for. Now, granted, this, we do need to sort out the lower time frames first. This area needs to be broken right around, let's see if we can actually bring this up. I realize that you can't see this right now. There we go. 191. If we can actually close a 4 hour dildo above there, then yes, I do believe that these skies are clear for about a 210-ish move, maybe, give or take a few bucks. And overall, you do see that this is quite constructive in the way that it's kind of rallied up, retested this level, then rallied off there, and now we're kind of doing the same thing right now. But of course, if we actually do take out 182 to the downside, I would be looking for this to come back down and consolidate lower, and this would kind of destroy the bullish momentum that we're currently seeing. Obviously, which is that valid? I mean, looking at the daily, the volume on this move so far is not that of a breakout move, so there is a little bit of there are some warning signs here, but I still would be going with the price action more than anything. Looking at BitMexico, still a little bit lackluster, pretty lackluster actually. Not the most inspiring, but I'd still give it the benefit of the doubt. And in BitMexico's major critical area is going to be 167.5. All right, let's go check out Mrs. Litecoin. Where's she at? Where you at, Mrs. Litecoin? You beautiful bitch. Sorry, you extremely elegant lady who deserves respect. Yep, bouncing up with the rest of the market, of course. We do see daily Stokes back up. We do see daily RSI regaining the exponential. I do think that this one continues on with the rest of the market. As long as Mrs. Litecoin closes today's daily above $75, I do believe that we do see the next move back up to like the 80, low 80s-ish area. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly catching wind. If the weekly can actually get above $81.50, I will be looking for a greater continuation overall towards the $90 level. So again, going to depend on what the rest of the market does. It doesn't look like Mrs. Litecoin is leading right now. It looks like Mr. Buteral is with, Buteral and Bitcoin are, and then Mrs. Litecoin kind of gets to catch wind of it, which is helping this consolidation. But again, today's close is going to be critical, and I do think that it does follow through with the rest of the market. I do think that it does, take a leg up here, but this is the more technical analysis way of looking at it. If we fail to close above $75 today, then probably coming back down to test, high 60s, we'll call it. But right now, not, I think that it's less likely to happen. Going over here to Mr. Cardano, what's Mr. Cardano doing? Weekly still looks like shit versus Satoshi pairing, probably coming further down. Daily, so did we retest the 200 simple? I mean, I pretty much consider this a retest of the 200 simple. We got up almost to the 1200 target, about 11 Satoshi shy, and then backing off from that almost immediately. That's not a good reaction. Let's look at a 2 day. It's hard to, these things are just fucking curling over, man. The thing is that it actually wouldn't take too much to get this thing to pop back up to like 1300, but the lack of reaction, I should say, over the last half week has not been good, and that would imply that overall we do go lower. Weekly does want lower, to be clear. Weekly is bearish. Weekly Stokes gaining massive momentum to the downside. I know someone's going to get mad because I'm looking at it versus Bitcoin, where of course it looks like shit. Whoops, I just called it AIDS. Let's call it ADA Cardano versus the dollar, the actual Bitcoin, and I'd say it looks just as shitty actually. It's still lower highs and lower lows, man. Still lower highs and lower lows. Look at a weekly. Yeah, weekly, here's the problem with the weekly. The second that the weekly loses 6.2 cents, really fucking bad. This thing's going to come back down to like 5 cents if that happens. Weekly soaks down, does it get the rally with the rest of the market? I mean, is the rest of the market strong enough to bring something like this up? I would say we do have some, the thing is, it's not going to take too much to get a pump back up here. That's the thing. You know, if we could just rally back above 7 cents, this thing's going to see like almost 8 cents. Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on the dollar pairing. Let's see, BNB count, BNB. Man, am I still going to be looking for a pullback here? Oh God, it's so fucking close. Did we take out last week's low? We did not. Holy shit, man. Is this thing really going to rally from this area? I still would like to see a comeback down in tests like $19.70 or 69 cents. I'd feel a lot more comfortable with that. In this area right here, we're very obviously just consolidating, but the question is it a time to be aggressive or not? We have the golden cross when we're above the 21. I mean, that's usually the time to be aggressive. But you know, I still would be kind of holding out. Overall, this thing is bullish. Don't get me wrong. Overall, this is a very bullish chart. It's probably the best chart in crypto, actually. Monthly is extremely strong. For as much as a monthly that we really get, you know, but weekly could very easily pop back down and test like 1970. I think that would be a much more reasonable area. Zcash, looks like it wants to pump back up to 68, 68 and a quarter. What does the daily look like? Yeah, looks okay. Bcash hit our $300 target, and I do think that we do carry on higher from here. Daily Stokes looking fine. Daily RSI regain the exponential. Pretty much everything looks like kind of wants to take a leg up here. Weekly is not as strong as the other ones. I will say that. Definitely not the top of the top, but better than most. Tron Cash getting its leg up here. Let's see. Yeah, I do think that this one does salvage itself back up and carries itself back to like 2.7. Technically, I'd still be waiting for this area to get broken at 2.55, but personally speaking, I do think that we see back up here. We've come back down and based on this support too many times right now, so we're gonna go test some resistances. Neocash, what's Neocash doing? Again, another alt that's I'm not too confident on this one. Actually, I'm really not confident on this one. Let's look at the weekly. Now the weekly looks bearish, but probably does get a move back up to 1010. Well, we kind of already got that, didn't we? Yeah, really struggling here. Here's the thing: we have bullish divergence coming on these pair of lows, right? But we are below all major moving averages. What do I put more weight on? Bearish divergence on a daily is pretty hard to fight with. I do think that it probably does get it. The thing is that the rest of the market's kind of, either holding flat or moving a little bit up. I think that this one probably just moves up via that. And about 10-15 would be the target. EOS, same thing, or not same thing as Neo. This one's a little bit stronger. I do think that this one looks like Litecoin actually probably moves up to 546. Weekly looking fine. Weekly looks like it actually wants to do some really nice here. 560 is going to be the next resistance, right? But to me, it's just a massive consolidation. We have the golden cross. We just regained the 21. This is probably an opportunity actually. Let's see. Let's go look at euro versus dollar. Again, higher time frames, I would be bearish on this, but lower time frames, I am looking for this to actually pump back up. I think that our first target of 112 was hit, but I do think that this one does hit about 112.5 and then probably 113 actually. Looking at the weekly. Ooh, do I say that on the weekly? Maybe I might take back my 113 target. Maybe I keep it there. Weekly Stokes having a fresh cross the upside. Looks at the monthly. Yeah, maybe it does come back up there, 113. Should I still be bearish on this though? So that's a real question. I might be loosening up on my bearishness of this after looking at those time frames. It's been pretty resilient in this area. Now we're putting in some pretty massive bullish divergence. Yeah, I do think that this one does overall over time hit 113. Then we'll kind of decide from there. But I might be loosening up on my bearishness on this one overall. I'm not quite sure it's a time to still be bearish on this. Shorter term time frames are bullish. They do want to test higher. We'll kind of reassess once it gets to 113. How long does that take? Nobody fucking knows. Ripple Cash, same thing here. Probably going to pump back up and test 31.6. Right around this area, right around this resistance, right around 31.6 to 31.8 ish area. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, weekly doesn't look good, but I do think that it pumps back up to like 31.5, we'll call it. Just mark it in the middle. Maybe a little bit higher. If things get really crazy, 33 cents over time. over time. Monero moving up. Monero, one of the stronger alts actually, and this is what I think a lot of them are going to do actually. Hitting our $77 target. Nice. Hey, not bad. Or did we? 75 and a quarter. Pretty damn close. Not quite there just yet, but if we can break $77, then I'd be looking for a move towards actually 87. So overall, and I do think that it hits it. It's looking better than most. Stellar, probably going to do the same thing. Probably is going to pump back up to 10.30. Probably higher than that as well over time. Again, I really don't like being bearish coming off these levels here, the 200 simple and the weekly. It's a buying opportunity more often than not until we actually break it. Spies closing the day really fucking strong. Holy shit, filled the gap all the way. My God, man, this is the market that does not retrace. We called the retrace coming into this week, but after this, man, I would have been looking for a retracement down to 286. I'm gonna be wrong on that again. But this is why I have that rule on the daily. Once you get the golden cross, which we got all the way back on over here, and once you're above the 21, I'm not really looking for like big shorts. That supersedes everything else, and you can see that we have failed to actually close below the 21 since then. So pretty fucking good and very good volume on this buyback as well. Does this continue onwards and upwards? Probably, man. Probably. Holy shit. Unless if today opens below 290 and a half. Or sorry, yeah, 290 and a half. If today opens below 290 and a half, then I'd kind of, let go of that belief. But right here, this is pretty powerful buying, man. It's pretty powerful buying. Anyways, I think that does it for everything. Let me go back on to Mr. Bitcoin. We'll wrap this bitch up. Lower time frames looking like we're gonna get that pullback. Say target like 5830 to 5800ish area. Higher time frames though, I'd still be looking for continuation. 4 hour looks pretty damn good to me. Resistance right at 5930 and rising over time. If the second that we clear that area though, I am looking for a move into the 62 to 64ish area, confluent with our volume profile and our higher time frame targets. Looking at the daily overall, looks like continuation to me. So with that said, or I should also cover this as well. If we were to actually break below 5,800, then this rally likely does fall apart a little bit and comes down and consolidates back down around 5,600. But I think that's a less likely thing to happen. I think that right now we're just looking at a very short-term pullback and then continuations long-term. So that's going to do it for right now. I'll be back on later with some more live stream analysis. Looking forward to seeing you there. If not, well, I want to take this opportunity to wish you a nice and happy and relaxing day. Take care and see you soon.